Some funerals are not held to mourn. They are held to prepare for a happiness that only arrives after the tears dry. Some funerals are not held to send the dead away. They are held to welcome something else that is already finding its way back. If you have ever read Vu Trong Phong's The Happiness of a Mourning Household, with its unforgettable con man Swan Tok Do, then listen to this version, the horror version, and ask yourself what the happiness of a mourning household truly looks like when the dead refuse to stay dead. The Vietnamese believe that when a person draws their last breath, the soul does not leave the body immediately. It lingers. It hesitates. And in that narrow window between life and whatever comes after, if a black cat leaps across the corpse, the body will move. The dead will sit up. Their eyes will roll back, white and blank as hard-boiled eggs. Their lips will crack open into a smile that sounds like wind shrieking through a broken window. But the thing behind that smile is no longer your family member. It is something else entirely. Something old. Something that has borrowed a body to live one more time. The Vietnamese call it Quy Nhap Trang, the demon that enters the corpse. Most people wave it off as superstition, a ghost story invented to keep children from playing pranks during a wake. But every legend has a root. Every root drinks from something real. And I saw it at my own great-grandmother's funeral. My name is V.E., and this story begins with a phone call on a gray, rain-soaked afternoon in Saigon, when I was huddled under the rusting awning of Bac Dang bus terminal, waiting for a bus that was already 40 minutes late. My aunt's voice came through the receiver flat and even, the way a person sounds when they are reading a weather forecast. "She's gone. Sweetheart, come home for the funeral. Oh, and pick up some fruit on the way. Something to arrange near the coffin. We don't want it looking bare when the guests come through." I stood there with the phone pressed to my wet cheek and my waterlogged bag hanging off my shoulder, and I could not find a single word to say. Who speaks about death like that? As though great-grandmother had simply gone to the market and forgotten to call. As though a soul leaving a body after 93 years was the same inconvenience as a delayed delivery. But I knew my family. We are a mourning household where grief is nothing but a thin paper mask, pasted over calculations far deeper and far colder than any sorrow. I boarded the overnight coach. The road back to the village was a river of mud under the pelting rain, and the tires ground against the wet gravel with a sound like bones being slowly crushed underfoot. By the time I arrived, the ancestral house had been transformed into something unrecognizable. Black sedans packed the courtyard shoulder to shoulder, their headlights blazing outward like the footlights of a stage. People moved in and out in a brisk, purposeful stream, clutching folders and thick envelopes, their faces flushed and animated, the way faces look at a wedding reception when the open bar has just been announced. No crying, only laughter in low bursts, and the constant whisper of two words repeated over and over. In every corner of that house, percentage and assets. In the center room, the coffin had been placed on a low platform, polished ironwood, lacquered to a deep gleam, draped in crimson silk the color of old blood, ringed on all sides by white lilies, whose sweetness was so thick and so cloying, it could not disguise what lay beneath it. The smell of death is not subtle. It does not negotiate. It seeps through silk and lacquer and perfume, and reminds you, quietly and without mercy, that the body is only meat. great-grandmother's portrait hung above in a gilded frame. The lamp angled so that light fell across her face and made her look almost warm, almost alive. Her dark eyes seemed to follow me as I crossed the room, tracking each step I took toward the coffin. And the coffin was open. The lid had not been closed. Great-grandmother lay exposed to the air, her skin pale and papery, her gnarled hands folded on her chest. I found my eldest uncle nearby and asked him why. He grinned. The gold caps on his back teeth caught the light. We keep it open so the guests can see her properly. She was the pillar of this family. The world should get a good look. I swallowed. I turned toward the coffin. I knelt down and pressed my palms together. Great-grandmother, I'm here. You can go in peace now. The words came out, and even as I said them, I heard how hollow they sounded. A performance of grief, in a house full of performers. The wake was loud as a marketplace. People crowded around the offering table not to light incense, but to divide territory. Someone actually clinked a shot glass and called out, "A toast to the old lady." Laughter rolled through the room and drowned out the rain hammering the roof tiles. Only two of us sat by the coffin through the night, me and the old housekeeper, who had been with great-grandmother for over 30 years, and whose eyes were swollen nearly shut from crying. She leaned toward me and said, barely above a whisper, before she went, "She kept asking for you." She held on. She tried to wait. She just didn't make it in time. I bowed my head. Something shifted in my chest, loose and uncomfortable, the way guilt feels when it has nowhere to go. I had grown up in that house. Great-grandmother had raised me, loved me more than any of the others. And at 18, I had packed a bag and gone to the city to chase a future, and left her alone with her memories and her old photographs. That first night, I slept on a mat in the center room, close to the coffin. The rain intensified. Wind found every crack in the old walls and moaned through them, like something lost looking for a way in. The candles on either side of the coffin threw restless, shifting light that made the shadows crawl. I fell asleep to the sound of the rain, and the dream arrived almost immediately, dropping over me the way a net drops over something it intends to keep. In the dream, great-grandmother sat up inside the coffin. Her neck moved stiffly, the tendons pulling audibly, a slow grinding creak. When she turned to face me, her mouth was already open, and her voice came out in a wet, rasping scrape, like dead leaves dragged across stone. Light a candle for me. I am so cold. The flesh is rotting underneath my skin, and I am so cold. I woke up gasping. Cold sweat soaked through my shirt in a sheet. The two candles beside the coffin had gone out. Only their smoke remained, curling upward in pale threads through the dark. I scrambled to my feet and fumbled for the lighter with shaking hands. When the flame caught, and the light spread back across the room, I glanced at the coffin. Great-grandmother's thumb was twitching. The finger curled inward, reached, then stilled, as though she had been grasping for something just out of reach, and had finally given up. I rubbed my eyes, looked again. Nothing moved. You're exhausted, I told myself. You're imagining things. But my heart was slamming against my ribs, the way a fist slams against a door that it knows will not open. The next morning I told the family what I had seen. My eldest uncle laughed. You're overtired. You're seeing things." And the family moved on without missing a beat, pulling their chairs around the breakfast table, talking about the estate the way men at a casino talk about a jackpot. How do we divide it fairly? The grandchildren like VE should get the smaller cut. I sat and said nothing. I looked out the window at the rain that had not stopped once since I arrived. It was a strange thing to observe. Great-grandmother not yet buried, and her children already sorting her life into columns. The second night came. The rain thinned to a drizzle, and then stopped altogether, leaving behind a darkness so complete, it felt solid, as though the night itself had substance and weight. No moon, no stars, nothing in the sky but black. I sat alone by the incense bowl, feeding fresh sticks into the ash, watching the smoke rise and curl. Then the cold came. Not the cold of a room at night. A different cold entirely. The cold of something pressing up close behind you and breathing directly onto the back of your neck. I turned around. On the ceiling beam directly above the coffin, a black cat sat perfectly still. Its yellow eyes burned in the dark, like two coals that had never gone out. It did not blink. It did not move. Its black fur absorbed the dim light and gave nothing back. Its tail swept slowly from side to side, the way the tail of a predator moves when it is deciding. My chest locked up. The legend, the one every Vietnamese child is told and never fully believes. If a black cat crosses a freshly dead body before the soul has departed, Quy Nhap Trang will come. The corpse rises. But the thing wearing your loved one's face is not your loved one. It is something ancient and furious and hungry that has seized the body to live again. I screamed. There's a black cat up there. The whole household poured in. My eldest uncle shouted, "Get it out." But the cat was not afraid. It dropped from the beam to the floor and walked a slow, deliberate circle around the base of the coffin, its tail dragging against the lacquered wood, marking territory. Then came a sound. Small, dry, a single crack, like a knuckle popping. I looked at great-grandmother's face. Her head had tilted, a fraction to one side. The housekeeper shrieked and threw her slipper. The cat sprang onto the lid of the coffin, pulled itself, and launched directly across the length of the body. The candles all went out at once. Not one by one. All of them. Together. As though the darkness had exhaled and swallowed every flame in the room. In that absolute black, I heard three sounds. Three slow knocks. Patient. Deliberate. Coming from the inside of the coffin. Then a breath. Shallow. Labored. The breath of something returning from a very long way away. When the lights came back on, great-grandmother lay exactly as before, but her right index finger had moved. It now pointed straight outward, stiff and rigid, and caught on its tip was a single white lily petal. Except the petal was no longer white. It had gone the pale, watery red of something that has been briefly dipped in blood. The family buzzed and examined and explained it away. My eldest uncle kept his voice firm, but it wobbled at the edges. It was just the wind. The air pressure from the door. That's all it was. I stepped out onto the porch for air and looked toward the gate. A figure stood in the shadow of the eaves. Tall, motionless, wearing a black vest and a wide-brimmed hat pulled low over the face. A bolt of lightning fractured the sky, and in that half-second of white light, I saw what the shadow of the hat had been hiding. A face the color of unfinished plaster. No expression, no movement, just a pair of eyes trained without blinking on the coffin through the open door. I thought he was a late mourner. I told myself he was a late mourner. But the way he looked at that coffin raised every hair on my body. At the same time, the third night, I could not make myself sit alone beside the coffin again. I pulled my chair out to the porch with the others and kept my eyes fixed on the doorway to the center room. The incense smoke was wrong. Instead of rising, it curled back down and twisted along the floor in slow, serpentine coils, as though something below the floorboards was breathing it in. The portrait on the wall had shifted. Great-grandmother's eyes in the photograph were no longer looking outward at the room. They had moved and were looking down at the coffin, the way a person looks at something they have been waiting a long time to see. Then the sound came. Not a small crack this time. This was a splitting, wrenching crack that tore through the room like the sound of a spine breaking in two. The lid of the coffin slammed open. Two hands shot over the rim. The fingers were long and gray, and the knuckles jutted out like old roots breaking through dry soil. The hands gripped the edge and pulled, and great-grandmother's body hauled itself upright. The face was wrong. Everything about the face was wrong. The skin had collapsed inward around the jaw and cheekbones. The mouth gaped open at an angle the jaw should not have allowed. And from deep inside the throat, from somewhere that sounded miles below the body, came a voice that was not a voice, so much as a sound that had been forced into the shape of words. Ungrateful children, faithless grandchildren, I have come back from the depths of the underworld. I will tear you apart, every last one of you, one by one. The room exploded. Screaming, running, chairs knocked sideways, bodies colliding in the doorways. Someone hit me from behind, and I went down hard, my skull cracking against the stone step at the threshold. The world blurred at the edges and began to dissolve in that smeared half-consciousness. I saw it climbing out of the coffin, the thing wearing great-grandmother. Its fingernails had grown long and black and were scoring deep grooves in the floorboards as it dragged itself forward. The smell that came off it was sweet in the way that a wound goes sweet when it has been left too long in the heat. It moved through the room, and the screaming followed it. And somewhere in the noise I could hear the specific sound of someone being hurt badly, and the sound did not stop. The thing turned toward me. I saw the white eyes. I saw the smile. The lips pulled back in a rictus grin that let out a long, reedy whistle of air, the way wind whistles through a gap in old wood. Then everything went dark. When I woke, it was morning. The light was wrong for horror. Too gentle. Too ordinary. The house was wreckage. Tables overturned. Incense ash scattered across the floor in long gray smears. My eldest uncle lay crumpled on the porch, unconscious, with a wound on his neck that had gone deep purple around the edges and was ringed with dried blood, like a dark halo. The housekeeper found me and sat with me while I came back to myself. She told me what had happened. She told me the thing had come for me too, that it had crossed the room and stood over me where I lay, and raised its hands above me, and then it stopped. It turned its head toward the door, as though it had heard its name spoken somewhere outside. And then it walked out of the house, straight out through the front door, and into the night, and did not come back. And stranger still, when daylight broke, great-grandmother's grave had already been filled in. The mound was complete. The earth was pressed smooth, and the grave marker had been set, as though a burial had taken place sometime in the night, with no one present to witness it. No one in the family knew who had done it. No one could explain it. After the burial was formalized, the lawyer came with the will. Everyone received their portion. The room went bright with the kind of happiness that people feel when the number is larger than they expected. There was talk of cars, new houses, renovations. Within an hour, the terror of the previous night had been folded away, like an inconvenient piece of paper, and slipped into a pocket, and forgotten. I took my share and donated it. To the temple, to the poor boxes. I wanted none of it. I wanted only to feel like great-grandmother's soul had been given something clean to rest in. But the question would not leave me alone. Who had drawn the demon out of the house? Who had prepared the grave in the dark? Alone, without telling anyone. No one knew. No one ever found out. Except for this. On that last night, one of the neighbors saw a figure leaving by the path that leads to our front gate. He was wearing a black vest, a wide-brimmed hat that kept his face in shadow. He walked alone, unhurried, and in one hand, he held a photograph. The photograph was burning, the edges curling black, the paper going to ash, the face in the image disappearing, as though it had never been. I do not go back to the village alone anymore. Every night when the rain comes, I hear it. The whisper that rises with the sound of the water against the window. Light a candle for me. And I know now that death is not an ending. It is only a door left open.